I want to talk to a very specific woman right now. She's someone who has worked hard to build something, a career that she is so proud of, an identity beyond motherhood that she refused to give up, and quite frankly, that she shouldn't have to. She loves her children fiercely, and she also loves her work. And she has spent a significant amount of time and energy trying to convince herself and everyone around her that those two things are compatible. But quietly underneath all of that, there's a fear she doesn't say out loud very often, that maybe her ambition is costing her children something, that the hours at her desk, the focus she gives to her career, the part of her that lights up in a meeting or finishes a project, maybe that part is making her a worse mother. I'm going to speak directly to that fear today, not to dismiss it, definitely not to tell you that everything is fine, but to show you something that I believe will change how you understand yourself as a professional and as a mother, because that fear is built on a premise that is not true. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why more time with your child is not the answer, what your child is actually measuring when you walk through the door at the end of the day, and the one shift that gives you access to the deep connection that you have been chasing without changing a single thing about your schedule. So you have been doing the math. You've been counting the hours you're away. You've been comparing yourself to the mom who stays home. You've been calculating whether your child is getting enough of you. And no matter how you run the numbers, you always come up short. So you compensate. You overschedule weekends with activities. You skip lunch to leave early. You lie awake at night wondering if you'd be a better mother if you just gave up the career. You are exhausted, not from working too hard, but from carrying the belief that your child is paying the price for your ambition. I'm Kate Kripke. I'm a maternal mental health and attachment specialist and also a mother who built a career while raising two daughters. For over 20 years, I've worked with thousands of career-driven women navigating this exact tension. And I can tell you with complete certainty, the mothers who found the deepest connection with their children are not the ones who quit their jobs. They're the ones who learned how to arrive. I'm going to walk you through 5 things today that will fundamentally change the way you think about time, presence, and connection with your child. And the last one is something that you can practice tonight that takes, less than 60 seconds and will give you more of what you've been looking for than any schedule change ever could. So let's start here. Your child is not counting your hours. Here's what's actually happening in the body of a child who feels deeply connected to their mother. There's a hormone called oxytocin. You've probably heard of it. It's released during skin-to-skin contact, during moments of deep closeness, during those wordless moments where you and your child are just together. It's the chemical that produces the actual felt experience of love in the body, not that idea of love, the physical sensation of it. And here's the thing that changes everything. Oxytocin doesn't care how many hours you have. It cares whether you're actually there in the ones that you do. So a mother who is physically present for 12 hours but mentally somewhere else, planning and worrying and optimizing and scrolling, is not releasing oxytocin. She is not connecting. She is in the same room as her child, but she is not there. And the mother who has 2 hours, but who is genuinely, fully, completely present, that mother is receiving everything that she's been searching for. This is not a consolation prize for working mothers. This is the actual science of how connection works. I've seen this play out thousands of times. The mom who works full-time and sits on the floor for 15 genuine minutes at the end of the day, phone in another room, fully locked in with her child. She has a more connected relationship than the mom who is home all day, but mentally running through her to-do list while her child plays at her feet. Both mothers love their children, but only one is actually generating the neurochemistry of connection, and it has nothing to do with who has more time. Think about the people you feel the most connected to in your own life. It's not the people you spent the most time with, right? It's the people who were fully there when they were with you. You can feel the difference between someone who is in the room and someone who is with you in the room. Your child feels that difference too every single time. The question was never, do I have enough time with my child? The question has always been, when I'm with my child, am I actually there? So if your body is on the floor, but your mind is at your desk, you're not giving your child time. You're giving them proximity. And proximity without presence does not produce connection. So if the time isn't the issue, why does it feel so impossible to actually be present when you're with your child? Well, because your brain is doing something that nobody has explained to you. You see, it's likely that you're treating motherhood like a problem to solve, and that's why you're exhausted. Most ambitious women approach the tension between career and motherhood as a complicated question. How do I be a great mother and keep my career? How do I be fully present at home and fully engaged at work? How do I stop feeling so guilty? How do I do both? And because you are brilliant and driven, you do what you always do. You research, you optimize, you read the books, you find the coaches, and you download the apps and build the systems, because that is what you do. That is who you are. You find the answer. But here's a distinction that explains everything about the particular exhaustion of being an ambitious woman in motherhood. Some challenges in life are complicated, right? They're hard, they take effort, but there's an answer. Your analytical, problem-solving brain is brilliant at those. And then there are complex situations where there is no answer, no optimization strategy, no framework that resolves it once and for all. How do I be a good mother and keep my career is not a complicated question. It's a complex identity that you are growing into. And every time you treat it like a problem to solve, you spin. You feel guilty when the answer doesn't hold. You feel anxious when the balance tips. You feel like you're failing at something that was never a test in the first place. And that exhaustion you feel, that's not the cost of ambition. That is what happens when a brilliant mind works at full capacity on something that was never a problem to solve. I watch this cycle on repeat with my clients. She finds the new system, the morning routine, the meal prep strategy, the time blocking schedule, the parenting approach. For a few days it works. She feels some relief. Then it stops working because life is not a controllable system. And instead of recognizing that the approach was the issue, she blames herself. She thinks she didn't execute well enough. So she finds the next system. She does it again. And the cycle starts again over and over and over. The exhaustion isn't from the work. It's from the relentless search for a solution to something that doesn't have one. Think of it like trying to solve a piece of music. You can analyze the notes, you can break down the time signature, you can study the theory, but that will never tell you what it feels like to hear it. Some things in life aren't meant to be figured out. They're meant to be experienced. Motherhood is the music. And you've been spending all your energy reading the sheet music instead of listening. So ask yourself, am I trying to figure out motherhood or am I living it? If you spend more energy researching how to be a present mother than actually being present with your child, that is your sign. The figuring out is the thing that's keeping you from the experience that you're after. And this is where it really gets interesting, because once you stop trying to solve it, something becomes available to you that was never going to come through strategy. All right, so if this is landing differently than anything you've heard about working motherhood before, go ahead and subscribe. I share weekly tools for career-driven moms who want the real truth about anxiety, connection, and showing up fully in both roles, not the surface level advice that keeps you spinning over and over and over again. Okay, so I want to say something to every ambitious woman watching this, and I want you to hear it very clearly. Your drive is not the problem. The way you've been directing it might be. The same qualities that make you exceptional at work, your focus, your intensity, your ability to be completely in something, those are the exact qualities that when you bring them home in the right mode, create the kind of presence your children will remember for the rest of their lives. You don't need to become a different person to be a deeply connected mother. You need to learn how to bring all of who you are fully into the moments that you have. Not your fix-it brain, not your achieving brain, but the part of you that can set down the to-do list just for right now and sit in the not knowing of this moment with curiosity instead of anxiety, with wonder instead of urgency. And when you do that, when you're genuinely present with your child instead of trying to optimize the experience, something shifts. You stop chasing the feelings of fulfillment, love, connection, and joy. They actually find you because they were never at the end of a productivity system. They were always right there in the moment. You were too busy optimizing to notice them. The clients who transform fastest are the ones who realize they already have everything that they need. They don't need more tools. They don't need a new framework. They need to take the capacity they already use at the highest level in their career, that ability to be completely absorbed in something, and aim it at their child for even a few minutes, not as a task, not as something to get right, but as an experience to have. And when they do, they almost always cry, not from sadness, but from relief, because they've been searching so hard for something that was right in front of them the whole time. Ask yourself, when I'm with my child, am I experiencing the moment or managing it all? If you're mentally narrating what you should be doing, you're directing your drive at the wrong target. Do I feel more productive on days when I've optimized my child's schedule, activities, and meals, or on days when I just sat with them and did nothing? If only the first one counts as a good mom day, you're measuring motherhood with career metrics. Have I ever felt guilty for doing nothing with my child even though they seemed perfectly happy? That guilt is your achievement brain telling you that unstructured connection doesn't count, but it does. It is the whole point. So if these questions stung, it's not because you're doing something wrong. That's because you've been aiming your most powerful capacity at the wrong target. And the moment you redirect it, everything changes. So if the capacity is already there and you just need to redirect it, what does that actually look like in practice? Well, your child has already been showing you. You see, your child is your teacher. Here's what I find most breathtaking about all of this. Your child already knows how to do the thing that you have been trying to learn as an adult. Your child entered the world with a complete innate capacity to just be in the moment. No agenda. No expectations, no need to understand or fix or produce anything. They feel their feelings fully and completely, as I know you know. And they don't resist them. They just feel them and then they move on. Your child is not counting your hours. Your child is feeling your presence. And when you walk through that door at the end of the day, or when you close the laptop and sit on the floor and you are genuinely there, your child feels that in their body, in their nervous system, in the way their whole being settles. This is oxytocin. This is connection. This is what you have been looking for. Your child did not arrive here needing you to give up your ambition. Your child arrived here needing you to arrive. And what they are teaching you, if you let them, is how to be fully in the moment, without agenda, without optimization, without needing it to be different than it is. That is the skill. That is the whole thing. Here's what I want you to stop doing. Stop trying to make every moment with your child count by filling it with all these educational activities and structured play or developmental optimization. Your child doesn't need you to produce an enriching experience. They need you to be in the experience. Stop mentally rehearsing tomorrow's meeting while you're reading a bedtime story. Half presence isn't presence, and your child can really, truly feel the difference. Stop treating transition moments like drop off and pick up and bedtime as logistics to manage instead of connection points to inhabit. Here's what I want you to start doing. Let your child lead for even just 5 minutes a day. Follow what they're doing without redirecting, without improving, without teaching. Watch your child in the way you'd watch a sunset, with no agenda, no analytics, just witnessing. Notice what your child does naturally that you've forgotten how to do. Feel fully, move on easily, exist without needing to justify the moment. There's a famous study involving baby monkeys who are separated from their mothers. And they're given two options in the study: a wire figure monkey holding a bottle of milk, or a wire figure monkey covered in cloth fur. The baby monkeys spent most of their time clinging to the soft for cloth mother, even though she didn't provide food. What that baby needed more than nourishment was the felt sense of being held by something warm. This is what your child is orienting towards when they walk in the room. Not what you've accomplished, not how many hours you were gone, not even what you will actively do for them. The warmth of your actual presence is what matters most. So, how on earth do you access this? How do you go from a full day of problem solving and strategy and achievement brain to actually being present with your child in the minutes that matter? It is simpler than you think, and it starts before you even open the door. Everything you've been searching for lives in one moment, and that moment happens every single day. You've just been walking right past it. The transition between work and home is the most important 60 seconds of your day, not the 2 hours of quality time you try to manufacture afterwards, and not the weekend activities you plan out of guilt, but the 60 seconds where you cross the threshold between professional and mother. That's where connection is won or lost. Right now, most working moms make that transition while still carrying the full weight of their workday. Their body is home, but their nervous system is still at the office. They walk through the door already behind, already compensating, already calculating how to make up for lost time. And from that state, everything they do with their child is flavored with urgency rather than presence. Their child doesn't get a mother who arrived, they get a mother who is performing arrival while her mind is somewhere else. The practice I'm about to teach you interrupts that pattern. It creates an actual neurological shift between your work state and your home state, and it takes less than 60 seconds. And it will give your child more of what they need than an extra hour of guilt-driven togetherness ever could. Think of the space between your car and your front door as an airlock, okay? On one side is the atmosphere of work, pressure, performance, problem solving, speed. On the other side is the atmosphere of home, presence, connection, feeling, slow. Right now, you are blowing the airlock door open and flooding your home with work atmosphere. Your child is breathing in your urgency before you've even said hello. This practice seals the airlock. It gives you 60 seconds to decompress, shift atmospheres, and walk through the door as a version of yourself your child is actually looking for. So do this tonight. Before you walk through the door, before you pick up your child, before you transition from work to home, every single day. The first step is I want you to stop before you enter. Just about 15 seconds. Whatever the threshold is between your work world and your child, I want you to pause right there. Car door, front porch, daycare parking lot, hallway outside the door. Don't go in yet. Take one slow breath. Feel your feet on the ground and say silently, work is done. I don't need to solve anything right now. I just need to arrive. Step 2, put down the weight. Again, I don't know, maybe 15 seconds or so. Mentally set down everything that you're carrying from the day. The unfinished email, the meeting that went sideways, the thing you forgot to do, that mental to-do list for tomorrow. You're not deleting it. You're just setting it on the porch. It's still going to be there later. Right now, it does not come inside. I literally want you to picture yourself putting those things down. Shake out your hands physically. Let your shoulders drop. Unclench your jaw. One more slow breath. Step 3, arrive as the mother. Again, 15 seconds before you open the door. Shift the question in your mind. Not, what do I need to get done tonight? Not, how do I make up for being gone? Instead, what would it feel like to just be with my child right now? And let yourself feel the answer in your body before you move. Step 4, walk in and do nothing for 60 seconds. Open the door, see your child, and for the first 60 seconds, do nothing productive. Don't start dinner, don't check backpacks, don't ask about the day, just be there. Get on their level if they're small. If they're a baby, hold them in your arms. Make eye contact. If they come to you, receive them fully. And if they're busy and don't look up, that is fine. Sit near them. Watch them. Let yourself feel what it's like to be in their world without managing it. That's it. 60 seconds of genuine arrival, not performing, not compensating, just arriving. Here's what changes when you practice this daily. Days 1 to 3, it will feel real strange. Your brain will resist the pause. It will tell you there's too much to do, that you're wasting time, that you should already be inside starting dinner. That resistance is achievement brain trying to stay in charge. So just notice it. Don't obey it, just notice it. Week 1, you're going to start to feel the shift physically. The moment you pause outside the door, your body will begin to anticipate the downshift. Your shoulders will drop before you tell them to. Your breathing will slow. That practice is becoming a signal to your nervous system. Different mode now. Okay, week 2, your child will respond. You may notice them settling faster when you come home, being less clingy or less chaotic at the transition time. Not because you're doing more, because what you're bringing through the door has changed. They're receiving presence instead of urgency, and their nervous system is responding to it. And week 3 and beyond, the guilt starts to loosen, not because you've convinced yourself that working is fine, but because you have daily evidence that connection doesn't require more time. It requires arrival, and you're arriving every day in 60 seconds, and it's enough. Your child is showing you that it is enough. Okay, quick quality check. You don't need to do this perfectly, and some nights you are going to forget. Some nights you will walk in already overwhelmed and go straight to the kitchen, and that's fine. This isn't another thing to optimize. It's an invitation to shift. Even 3 arrivals out of 5 workdays will change the texture of your child's experience of you coming home. You're not aiming to be perfect. You're aiming to be present. And one final thought, you don't have to shrink to connect. You don't have to give up the career or the ambition or the part of you that lights up when you're doing work that matters. Just have to learn how to arrive, not as the professional who's been solving problems all day, as the mother, fully right here. Because that moment, that breath, that willingness to be in it instead of manage it, that is where the love is. That is where the connection is. And that is where you find what you have always been looking for. And you find right there that you never had to choose. So if this has shifted something in you today, watch this video next. It goes deeper into why high-achieving women struggle in motherhood and the one operating system shift that changes everything at home. Link is in the description and right here on the screen. I will see you there.